Hello, hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. James here, as ever, for today's ACCA Management Accounting video, where we're going to go through some top tutor tips that could be the difference in getting you a pass in your examination. And I'm delighted to introduce you to today. Maria has kindly come on the channel. She is a top tutor for management accounting, and she's going to share her insights. So make sure you've got your pen and paper at the ready. I've put her details in the description of this video. But Maria, kick us off straight away. If we've got a student who's watching this who goes, James, I've got the management accounting exam coming up in 6 weeks, 2 months' time, maybe next week, how would you advise them to pass it? What do you think?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, James, for inviting me to share my tips with the student community of ACCA. And first of all, I would like to start with the comprehensive study plan. I would recommend to all of the students to make a comprehensive study plan so that you will not need to rush when the paper is in front of you. So just make a comprehensive study plan, have all of the chapters in your notes, review all of the study text and make notes of your own so that you can review those notes later when the exam is approaching. First of all, I need to discuss that the management accounting paper is the sub paper of the performance management paper of paper F5. So you need to have a solid understanding of the concepts of paper F2, which is management accounting, so that you can well perform in your other papers like F5 or advanced performance management. And this is the main reason I would recommend most of the students to follow the study plan, comprehensive study plan. Practice as many exam questions as possible, make your concepts clear, and just get out of the rote learning of formats or performers, because it will not help you to pass the exam. The concepts will help you to pass the exam. So just try to make your concepts as clear as possible so that you can perform well in the exam and you pass your exam in the first attempt.
Exactly. I think it's a really good start off for the recording on there, and just to give people a flavour, because maybe they had an exemption from business technology, which is the advised first exam, but going into management accounting, I would say it's lots more calculations involved, and especially if you're new to accounting, what do you advise a student that maybe it's their first exam?
Okay, if the management accounting is their first exam, I would like to recommend them to just skim through all of the chapters in the study text. Just read the study text as many chapters as you can. Just read like you read a normal book or a normal novel. Just read and have an idea what kind of chapters you are gonna read, or you're gonna practice in your later study routine stages. So just read the whole book, have an idea of the chapters, and then just pin those points which you are having in your mind, like the chapter which you feel more difficult in your study. So just write it down and just start with that chapter straight away without thinking any other idea in your mind. So just read everything in the study text. I would recommend to follow Kaplan study text because it's very technical and very comprehensive study text. It won't get you it's not very detailed like BPP is, because many students are complaining me to ma'am, the BPP study text is very detailed, and we got very nervous or very confused while we are preparing for the exam, because the study text has so much to read and we distracted when the exams are approaching. So I just recommend them the Kaplan study text because it's very comprehensive, and the test your understandings are very powerful in terms of your exam related questions. So just practice as many test your understanding questions as you can, and then move forward with your practicing session. Like use your both of the kits, BPP and Kaplan. I always recommend to use both kits because it will broaden your practice question horizon. Or you can say, you will get to know more of the exam related questions as you can. And then when you practice all of the questions, just mark the negative ones in another paper, so that you will review those questions later, and then you will review the topic related to those questions in detail, so that you will work on your weakest areas first,
Exactly.
right? And then mock exam in the CBE platform, so that you will get to familiar with the CBE platform ahead of your exam. So that is the main point I think most students are lacking these days.
Yes, I agree. The CBE platform, it's another exam where students make silly mistakes on calculations, especially in section B, which in my opinion is a lot harder than section A. They don't read the question properly, get their calculations mixed up. And also I've seen online in the examiner's report, bad time management, where the examiner goes, I can just see that they've rushed through section B and they've not allocated enough time on there, which nicely leads us into the free resources available on ACCA's website. I mean, what's your advice in terms of CBE, free resources, technical articles?
Yeah, my advice would be the same, James. Nice point raised by you, because many students don't get familiar to the CBE platform, and that is the main reason they feel very overwhelmed when they first get to know the CBE platform. The timer, the top right corner, the timer is very, you can say, daunting thing in front of them. So they got really nervous, and that is the main thing they got failed in their exam, because there is no lack in their knowledge. There is a poor exam technique on their side.
Yes.
So they need to first work on their exam technique, and exam technique can be corrected if you follow the procedure, like read the study text, practice as many questions from kids as well, and then do a mock in CBE platform. Read as many technical articles as possible from the ACCA examination team, because they have written clearly why students got failed in the first attempt, why they did that question wrong, why did that question wrong, because they have properly illustrated everything in the technical article portion. So you need to first get through all the study related thing, and then you will need to give mock. And when you see yourself that you have got 40s or 50s marks, then you need to more work on your exam technique areas, like read technical articles, read 4 of the previous examination reports related to your paper, and work on yourself. You will pass this paper eventually, because it's a very interesting paper. And nice point, James, because I have seen many students, they start their exam with section A questions, which are very easy questions, and they don't start with the section B questions. That is the trick. Start with the section B, because it's a trickier area of the exam, and you should start with section B and then move yourself into section A questions, so that you can gain confidence by solving the shorter questions. And then when you gain the confidence of solving 50% more area of the exam, you get very comfortable with the section C questions.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, exactly. Well, it's coming on to practice. You just got to practice on it, haven't you? As you go through practice, time management, doing it on the CBE platform. And I completely agree with you there, Maria. If you don't know an area, maybe it's about variances, for example, on there. Just go onto the technical article for variances, and it takes you through what it means with a working example, and it tells you how it can be tested. So what I'll do is I'll put the link. So if you're watching this video, click the link below. It will take you directly to the free resources on there as well. That will definitely help you out. But what other things do your students tell you, Maria, about the examination that they wish they'd have known when they first started it? I think would be a good question to ask you.
Many students, James, told me that they didn't get much time to properly investigate the questions and do it in their first place. So they told me that, ma'am, I didn't get time. I didn't get time because I have put much of my time in that particular question. I have put almost 15 to 20 minutes figuring out what the question's answer would be. So I would recommend them to not do this mistake again, because the question 2 marks. Like, you should give 1.2 minutes per question. and not more than 1.2 minutes, and then just proceed with the other questions. You can there's no negative marking in ACCA exams. You can make an educated guess and then just move on with the other questions, and just do a good guess, and then just move on with the other questions, and do as many questions as possible. Do your whole exam. Do not left any of the questions in the exam. So that is the main reason why students fail, and why they got 48, 49, even 47 marks in the exam. So I just told them to just go with the easy ones first, go with the easy questions first, and then move on and flag with the difficult one later. So you can have a proper mindset of solving those questions at the end of the exam when the timer is going to end.
Yeah.
So just do the difficult ones later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're putting it nice and short and sweet. There are going to be just easier questions in section A that it's just which one of these answers, and they're the ones that you've got to be focusing in, read it correctly, and don't throw away those marks, because you do get the trickier ones where it's select 2 out of the 5 options, or maybe you've got to do a bit of calculating on there, or maybe it's worded a bit tricky. So pick on the easy ones. I think going for actually section B first of all is a really good one on there, because you're going to get some tricky topics for it. So the more practice you do, and the other thing to know, which students don't like to do, Maria, as you'll know from yours, is they don't like to do it 2 times under exam conditions, sitting down for 2 hours on a computer screen like this and just saying to yourself, phone away, books away, and I'm going to do it as if at the mock was like the real exam.
Exactly. Just do a preparation to give your exam ahead of your exam. Just do 2 to 3 mocks in CBE platform, and you will get really comfortable when your real exam is approaching. You will not get uncomfortable when you first see your exam, real exam. And if you solve your mock exams ahead of your exam, that will be a great start to evaluate yourself.
Definitely.
And you will get to know where you went wrong and where you went right, and what's your strongest and what's your weakest areas for the paper.
Yes, exactly. And if anyone's struggling on their exam technique, because obviously, Maria, I'm such a cool guy and I spend my time wisely, I've been through quite a lot of section B questions on the channel, and also you can actually watch a full CBE from start to finish. So I read through the questions like I would do if I had to sit it. So check that out on there. It will definitely help you out. And I read it through. Some of them are, you've really got to focus in on what they're asking for, and then trying to work out, is it about break even? Is it contribution? What's happening in the scenario? And I think asking yourself questions about what the requirement is asking for is another good tip to get down.
Exactly. Yeah, James, you really mentioned the right thing, because many of the students don't really understand the basic requirement asked by the ACCA examiner. Like when you get to know the answer should be in millions, many students write millions in their answer. They should not write, they should not add 0 into the figure, because 0 has already been provided by the examination software.
Exactly.
So if you add 0, you will get wrong answer.
Yeah.
Because if you are having a right answer and you add 0, the system will identify it as a wrong answer. So just try to be more familiar with the exam pattern, with the exam standard questions, so that you cannot do your exam in a wrong way, or you cannot do blunders in your exam.
Exactly.
Which is why many students got failed. Yeah, many students got failed. The brilliant ones got failed. So this is the main reason behind it.
It's just so students are crystal clear who are watching this. The exam is fully marked by a computer. So unless you put in the right numbers on there, that's in the right format that they're looking for, you won't get the marks if you've got it in a different format on there. So this is where it's really critical that you do as many question practices on the platform, and then take that knowledge from the cortex and then apply it on there as well. But Maria, I'm going to have to ask you as well, are there any other final management accounting top tips that we haven't talked about today that we've got to get across on this recording that could be the difference in someone getting that 50 plus?
Yeah, the main thing which I need to discuss before we end up this call is do analyze your syllabus, because F2 syllabus is basically 50% calculation or 50% theory. It's like a balancing paper between theoretical and the calculation type examination questions. So just analyze your study text, review your study text, and when you practicing calculation questions, like the more number related questions, never you can say never ignore theoretical questions as well, theoretical part as well, because many of the students ignore the theoretical part and they just give their full attention to the number related questions. So this is the wrong approach. You should give your attention to both of the areas, the theory and the calculation areas, both of the areas, because it can get you pass in the exam in first attempt.
Yes.
So concentrate on the theory as well. That is my main tip.
Exactly. Fantastic. And to add to that as well, you can't question spot on this examination. You have to cover all areas. Yes, some are more commonly tested, like variances, bits of budgets on there as well. But overall, they could put in absolutely anything in the exam from syllabus page 1 to the end. So I've just got to say, Mariya, thank you so much for all your tips today. They're definitely going to help out someone who's got this exam coming up. So be sure, guys, to give this video a massive like below and also subscribe so you get access to all my other ACCA videos on the channel. If you have any questions for myself and Mariya, leave us a comment at the bottom. We'd love to hear how you got on in your examination. And if you've got any questions, we'll be more than happy to help you out on there. But have you enjoyed today, Mariya? Have you enjoyed being on the channel? You're feeling like you're enjoying it now?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the sessions. Thank you so much, James, for having me in your conversations. And I'm really honored to be a part of your videos. And thank you so much.
Oh, honestly, the pleasure is all mine. And I know you're going to help out the ACCA community out there, because your tips today could be the difference in a student getting 48, 49, which is the worst number in the world, to getting a 50 plus. But as always, at the end of every video, there is always a bombshell, and 49 is one of them. So we will see you next time, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone.